This is Seeking the Word. This is a project where I'm reading through the Bible from beginning to end, trying to understand what the text says as I move through it. In this episode, we're looking at Genesis 9:18 through 29. Let's read the passage. The sons of Noah who went out of the ship were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the whole earth was populated. Noah began to be a farmer and planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and got drunk. He was uncovered within his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it on both their shoulders, went in backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were backward, and they didn't see their father's nakedness. Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done to him. He said, "Canaan is cursed. He will be a servant of servants to his brothers." He said, "Blessed be Yahweh, the God of Shem. Let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth. Let him dwell in the tents of Shem. Let Canaan be his servant." Noah lived 350 years after the flood. All the days of Noah were 950 years, and then he died. That's the passage. A few things stand out just in the wording. The passage begins by identifying Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and then repeats that Ham is the father of Canaan. That connection between Ham and Canaan is mentioned more than once before the events of the story unfold. The narrative then shifts to Noah beginning a new activity after the flood. He becomes a farmer and plants a vineyard. The text states directly that Noah drinks wine from the vineyard and becomes drunk. It reports that he is uncovered inside his tent. Ham is described as seeing the nakedness of his father and then going outside to tell his two brothers. The response of Shem and Japheth is described in detail. They take a garment, place it across their shoulders, walk in backwards, and cover their father while deliberately avoiding looking at him. The passage emphasizes that their faces were turned away and that they did not see their father's nakedness. After this, Noah awakes from his wine and is described as knowing what his youngest son had done to him. The narrative then shifts into spoken declarations. Noah speaks a curse directed at Canaan and blessings connected to Shem and Japheth. The statement includes both blessings and servitude language, with Canaan described repeatedly as serving the other lines. After these statements, the narrative closes by returning to the pattern used earlier in Genesis, recording how long Noah lived and stating that he died. That's what the text shows on its own. When I sit with this passage, a few things stand out to me. One thing that stood out to me pretty quickly is how the situation escalates. The passage starts with something fairly simple. Noah plants a vineyard, drinks some of the wine, and becomes drunk. The text says he's lying uncovered inside his tent. Then the reaction begins. Ham sees his father and goes out and tells his brothers. Shem and Japheth respond very differently. They take a garment, put it across their shoulders, walk in backwards, and cover their father without looking at him. And then the whole moment ends with Noah waking up and speaking a curse. Reading through it feels like a chain of events. One thing happens, then another, and each step seems to build on the one before it. At first, I found myself wondering why seeing Noah naked is treated as such a serious issue. In ordinary life, people sometimes see a family member in a situation like that by accident. It happens. It isn't usually treated as a major event. But here the passage slows down and gives a lot of detail about how the brothers walked in backwards and made sure they didn't see him. That emphasis makes it feel like something more is going on in the story. But the thing that stood out to me the most is the curse. The curse doesn't fall directly on Ham, even though Ham is the one in the scene. Instead, it falls on Canaan, Ham's son. That immediately raises a question for me about fairness. Why would the consequence land on the next generation rather than on the person involved in the moment? Another detail that affects how I read the scene is Noah's condition when he wakes up. The text says he wakes up from his wine and realizes what has happened. So when the curse flows right after it, it doesn't necessarily sound calm or measured. It sounds like anger, like a father waking up, realizing what had happened, and reacting sharply in the moment. That doesn't resolve the tension in the passage, but it's one of the things that stood out to me as I sat with the story. That's where I'll leave the passage for this episode. And this is Seeking the Word.